Welcome back to Homeworks Garage, guys, and we are about a week after getting back from the Motorhome and Caravan Show at the NEC at Birmingham. Now in this video I'm going to share with you my 7 favourite campervans and also why I won't be going back next year. Like I said, we've been back about a week now from the NEC. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically review the vans on my laptop here. So I took some footage when we were down there. So I'm going to review it on here, put the footage on screen, and then kind of talk over the top of it. Now, I'm not going to go into full details of every van, just the kind of main things. Have they got lithium batteries or is it AGM? What is the heating, hot water in the van? You know, the main important things. Obviously, I'm not going to go into the full details of everything. There's no real order of these vans other than how I came across them at the show. So it's not like the first one's the one I like the least. It's just how I came across them at the show. Now, the first van that we came across was the Laika, Kosmo, Supremo, Azzurro, Camri. Camri? I think that's how you pronounce all of that. Which is basically a 6-meter Fiat Ducato is the base van. Now this is an Italian company. I've never seen any of their vans before. This is the first time seeing it. But the van's basically, the heating is diesel. It's a gas hob, so the cooking is done via gas. It has a 95 amp hour leisure battery. Now the main thing I liked about this one was quite simply the colours, both inside and out. The van just did kind of stand out, grabbed my attention walking past it. Now the fit and finish seemed very good on these vans, but you would expect that with a base price of £71,800. Right, so van number 2 was Project Yonda Nomad. Now this is a medium wheelbase Merc Sprinter, so it's probably about 6 meters in length. It's a 4x4 van. Now I almost left this one out just solely due to the sheer price of it, but we'll get to that at the end of this section. So the standard spec, you get a Truma D4 combi boiler handling the heating and hot water. Victron 3000 watt inverter powered by 660 amp hours of lithium battery, and that includes 280 watts of solar on the roof. Now cooking wise, you get a 2-ring induction hob, and there is a 70-litre compressor fridge. Now the thing I liked about this van is it just looks absolutely awesome. This thing looks like it could go anywhere, is very well spec'd and very well built. The van's flooring also makes it feel more like a luxury yacht than a camper van. It will carry and sleep as many people as required, looking at the options list anyway. And that brings us on to the dislikes. Now, obviously a van like this, there isn't that much to dislike about it, other than the standard cost is just over, hope you're sitting down, £192,000. Now, that'll quickly go north of that price if you start picking from the options list. Now, vans like this are at the top end of the market, and you could easily buy a house in the UK for that sort of money. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on this type of van. Like I said, I almost left it out just to the sheer price of the thing. And moving on to van number 3, which is the Hillside Hopton 600RB. Now this is based on a 6-meter MAN TGE, 180 horsepower. Now the hot water and heating is handled by a diesel unit. Now there's a gas and electric hob with a small gas oven as well. There's a 90-litre compressor fridge and an AGM leisure battery, although I'm unsure of the size that was fitted. Now, the way this van was spec'd at the show, it comes in at just over £87,000. Now, what I did like about this one was the layout was a little bit different, with having that kind of bed at the back that you can sort of slide backwards and forwards to open up a small seating area. I quite like that. It's not something you see in a lot of vans. The build quality was outstanding on this van, especially the kitchen countertop, which I'll stick a picture on screen now. Basically, the countertop was recessed with a light underneath it, and that was one of the things that actually caught my eye when I was walking past it. Now, also, the MAN is a pretty good looking van, so I'm always got a bit of a soft spot for an MAN or a VW Crafter. Also, the garage area was very large in this sort of layout, so that was my final like. Now, dislikes about this van: the bathroom was very basic. The back of the van felt a little claustrophobic with the higher units on both sides. And the other thing I wasn't so keen on was the fuse boxes and battery charger in the garage area. They looked a little unprotected. Now, depending on what you're putting in the garage area, that might not be a problem. But for a bit of boxing in, I thought that could have been a bit better. Now, moving on to van number 4 was the Kaktus Dune. Now, this is another MAN, but a 4x4 one with an automatic gearbox, and is also medium wheelbase, so 6 meters in length. Now, this one is diesel, heating and hot water. It is carrying 200 amp hours of lithium batteries, 150 watts of solar, so that essentially gives you fully off grid. Cooking is done via the induction hob, and as usual, we have a compressor fridge. Now, what I did like about this van was it does look absolutely amazing. Love the off-road rugged look. That is kind of what I do sort of tend to like the most. I really like the colour of this one. Again, very well finished off, and the fact you are fully off-grid with the electrical system in this van. Now, dislikes. Prices starting at £142,000 would be the first dislike. I'm not keen on the wood effect inside, but that would be obviously a spec change if you wanted that different. But what was at the show is certainly not the interior effect I would go for. But other than that, really struggling to try and find any dislikes about this van. If I had to be really picky, I would say a little bit more battery capacity and possibly a little bit more solar capacity as well. And on to van number 5, the Onyx Summit 2 on a 6 meter MAN-TGE 4x4 yet again. So I'll apologise if I've pronounced Onyx wrong, but that's how I think it's pronounced anyway. So first of all Victron electrics on this van with 400 amp hours of lithium backed up by 480 watts of solar. Cooking is handled by the induction hob. Heating and hot water are both handled by the Aqua Hot hydronic system. Now, that's the first time I've heard or seen of that system, so we'll need to go and check that out for some more information. So when I did have a quick look, it can be gas, electric, it can run on anything basically, but I'm presuming that's how you spec it from the start. Now, it didn't have any specific details what it got in this van, and as usual, a compressor fridge. Now, likes on this van, the one thing I did like was the lack of a bathroom, but the van does still have a shower and toilet. The toilet is hidden away under the seat, and the shower pulls out from under the same seat to kind of give you a temporary bathroom, I suppose is the best way to describe it. The layout also makes it feel more spacious, and the bed is also fully removable, offering a very versatile van. Fit and finish was also top notch on this van. The electric system giving this van real off-grid capabilities. Now, dislikes, the van can only carry 2 passengers. Also, the common dislike is the price. The website states 129,000. Now, if that's what you can buy this exact van for, then it isn't quite as expensive as some, but I don't know if that was the starting price or that was as spec'd at the show. But if you can get 129, then that isn't bad value compared to some of the other ones. Although £129,000 is still more than we paid for our first house 15 years ago. And the only other thing that I'm not quite keen on is the dark green colour. And van number 6, the Mega Mobil Mega Classic 600S Hubbett on an MAN 4x4 medium wheelbase, so 6 metre. I mean, some of these names are quite frankly far too long, to be honest. The van, as spec'd at the show, has 150 amp hour lithium battery, 2000 watt pure sine wave inverter, and some solar on the roof, although it didn't mention how much power of solar. Heating and hot water are handled by the Truma Combi 4E, so that is all gas. Cooking is also done via a gas hob, and the usual 70 litre Dometic fridge. Now, what I liked about this van and what caught my attention was it has a lift up bed in the back. Now, this gives extra versatility of the van if you want to put anything big in. Now, the fit and finish also really solid, nice materials used, and a clever bathroom design. And if you haven't already noticed, I do quite like the aesthetics of a 4x4 MAN TGE. Now, dislikes, the van is spec'd up with lithium battery and inverter, but at a little under £121,000, I was expecting better spec from the electrics, heating and hot water systems. And van number 7 is the Landseer Artemis, which is a 6 metre MAN TGE automatic. Now, as it was spec'd at the show, it had a Victron inverter charger, and that was powered by 460 amp hours of Roma lithium batteries with 570 watts of solar. So this gives cooking to be fully electric with a dual induction hob, the usual 70 litre compressor fridge. Heating and hot water are handled by a Truma Combi 6E, which is a diesel system. So what I liked about this van, although it's still £108,000 as spec'd at the show, it does seem to be one of the better value vans that we've seen at the show. Now, electrics, heating, cooking systems are all on point and finishes are top notch. The bathroom feels luxurious, and I loved the use of wood and Alcantara strips for the ceiling. The van in general just felt like a really nice place to be. Now, dislikes, the only one I can really come up with for this van was the fact you can only carry 2 passengers and only sleeps 2 people. But other than that, this was probably the van that I did like the most on the day. So I did say at the beginning of the video that I wouldn't be going back to the show next year. Now, there's 2 shows, kind of that fairly similar, one in February, one in October. And I don't think I will be going back next year. A couple of reasons. It is a long way for us to go. It's a good 4-hour drive each way to spend a day somewhere. And to be honest, we were there a couple of years ago, and I don't think that much has changed. Still a little bit disappointed that there's not more vans going down the standard spec of being fully electric. Lithium batteries have come down in price quite a bit over the last few years, but that's still a lot of the mid-range ones or kind of more entry-level ones. You're still just getting a 90 amp hour battery as your basic electric system. So I think I'm going to leave it another couple of years before going back and seeing if anything much has changed. So after owning our T6 Transporter campervan now for 5 years, we've obviously started thinking, do we need a bigger van? Which I would imagine a lot of people go through this as well. And that was one of the reasons why we went down to the NEC to have a look at some of the bigger vans. Obviously, we're favouring the MENs and the VW Crafters, just I think with having a VW at the minute. Now, well, no further forward with that decision, to be honest, because this van that we use currently, we do take it away on days out, that sort of thing, and you do end up in car parks quite a bit. But the other side of that is the bigger van will be much better on the longer trips away. Although I do like the idea of building a bigger van, I do worry that if we did go down that route, it might not get used as much as what this one does. Now, if you've been in this predicament and you've made a decision, please stick a comment down below and let us know what van you came from, what you went to, and how you went through that process. And if you want to go and check out my DIY mistakes for this van, go and check that out. It'll be linked in the description down below and will be on screen now. If you've liked this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and give the video a like, and we will see you in the next one.